Hey, what's going on? This is Dylan with Music and Mascara, and today I want to talk about tire safety, motorhome stuff. Obviously, I'm a beginner at this, and when we bought this motorhome, this is a 2014. When we bought it, it had what I believe was the original tires on it, and the dealership told me that even though there was a little bit of cracking, that it was within spec and that everything was fine according to the Michelin charts, etc. So how that works is you can go to the Michelin tire charts and you can look and they'll show you like how, basically so you can compare how far gone your tires are. That being said, I'm a little bit of a stickler about tire safety. Obviously, I don't want to blow a tire. So, as you can see here, our tires did have some cracking and it was starting to get worse. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna change them. So we called around. We ended up going with motorhometires.com. This is not a sponsored video. They did not pay me to say any of this, and I'll give you kind of the goods, the bads, and the uglies about using them. We went ahead and went with a set of Toyo M154s. I've got one trip on them. I've got about 400 miles on them now. We'll get into some particulars about that. They came out and installed the tires on site, so I didn't have to go anywhere. Terribly convenient. You end up paying about the same that you would pay per tire to buy them at a normal shop and have them come out and go there and have them balanced and put on and everything. So really the main benefit is just the convenience of having them come out to you. So a couple things I found as we drove our first trip on the new tires from motorhometires.com is that I was getting a vibration, a balance vibration. And I believe what happens is those beads, those balance beads are supposed to break apart and then spin around in the tire and balance your tire, which they're effective at doing. Here's the problem. They take a little bit of time to break apart and start to become effective. The problem is that if you just get out on the highway, then the bag will just stick to the side of the tire and spin around in there due to centrifugal force and stay there the whole time and not break apart. So we drove like the first 50 or 60 miles with a bad vibration because it wasn't balanced. As we stopped and started a few times, and I'm sure that bag was probably just banging around in there, and then it came apart, then it started to be more effective. On the first 400-mile trip, I did not have perfect tire balance. I believe what happened was, I have read, and you can put in the comments if you have differing experiences with this, but I have read that if you use balance beads in your tires, that you need to take all the wheel weights off so that the balance beads can do their job, otherwise everything's fighting against each other. Now I've read it both ways, but the majority of people say take your wheel weights off. So I went the first trip with balance beads and wheel weights. By the time you see this video, we will know if taking the wheel weights off made a positive or negative effect. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. Once I got to my destination, so we're here in Arkansas now, one of the other things that I wanted to do was make sure that we address tire pressure. The longevity of your tires and the safety of your tires really comes down to how you take care of them. Two things with that: keeping them clean, keeping silicone off of them, no Armor All, none of that garbage. And number two, making sure that your tire pressure is maintained at all times. There are different ways to check your tire pressure. Weighing your coach is probably the most accurate way, and then setting your tire pressure according to the weight of your coach, each axle and each corner, and then setting it to your tire manufacturer's recommendations. Now, Toyo does not recommend doing that. So after a bunch of looking and calling and talking, I'm setting the tire pressure in this motorhome to 100 pounds at each tire. So that's where we're gonna set it, and we're gonna leave it there for a while, and I'm gonna monitor it from there. How I'm gonna monitor it is we got the TST tire pressure monitoring system. So This thing is super cool. It comes with, well, you can buy it in different ways. I'll leave a link to it. There's 2 different styles of tire pressure monitoring sensors. I got the flow through kind on 4 tires, and I got the cap sensors on 2 tires. Let me explain. The flow through ones are a little bit heavier and a little bit longer. And so I put those on the left and right front tires, the left and right outer duals, and I put cap sensors on the left and right inner duals. All right, so here is one of the tire sensors. This is the flow through tire sensor. You see this is on a metal valve stem, and it's got a brass nut that spins backwards to it to lock it on, kind of an anti-theft measure. And then if you look down here, you'll see the cap sensor. And you see here, this is all loose. I want to put a piece of foam in here that will hold this so that it's not, you know, banging around or rubbing, because eventually that can rub and do damage to that braided hose. So I'm gonna put a rubber plug in here, I think, with a hole in the middle of it, and then that'll hold that more secure. And then here is the front one. I was a little concerned that it wouldn't fit, actually, but it looks like it fits fine. You just got to be careful where your valve stems come out and how that fits in there so that it doesn't hit against the wheel. It was a little concern I had, but it seemed to work okay. It was fairly easy to sync. You just have to follow the directions to a T. I saw a lot of people in reviews and stuff saying they had difficulty syncing up the device with each of the tire pressure monitoring sensors, because you actually have to set them up as you're going to put them on the vehicle. So left front, right, you know, right rear, left rear, inner, outer, like they have to be in the right spot. Because then when you watch the display as you're going down the road, it's going to toggle around through all of those tire pressures, and it's going to give you tire pressure and it's going to give you tire temperature. You're going to be able to set min and max for both things, and it will alarm you if you have a low tire pressure. The recommended thing, according to TST, is to set your tire alarm at 10% below what your regular tire pressure is. So if we run it at 100 pounds, the alarm will come off if my tire pressure drops below 90 pounds. Then it also has a temperature alarm. So if you go above like 158 or 160 degrees, it'll tell you, because heat in the tire is indicative of a problem. Like extreme heat in one tire where the rest of the tires are running at a normal temperature, and then you have one that's way hot, that's indicative of a problem before you even have a problem. So it's good to know what that temperature is. I love this setup. It is so cool. You couple that with my Viair compressor, and we're able to monitor everything, keep our tire temperature, to keep our tire pressure, keep everything all at the same. And this thing drives and rides so much nicer on these new tires. I'm really impressed with the compound and how it feels and how it rides. Way less road noise, way smoother. When you go over little bumps, you know, you go over like a train track, it doesn't just jar you, it actually soaks it up a little bit. I really, really like it. I think the next level thing for what we're gonna do is gonna be a steering stabilizer, because I think I want to just take it to that little next level. One thing I want to mention with this whole tire pressure monitoring system is that it comes with, the TST one, comes with a signal repeater, because your motorhome and then your tow vehicle get so long that maybe some of the tire pressure sensors cannot pick up. So I mounted a repeater, 12 volt powered, stole some power off of one of the little lights in one of my storage compartments. So now I have a repeater, so the signal is strong all the way to the back of the motorhome, and then the tire sensors will stay. Apparently, if you leave them on your wheels, they sense air pressure, they turn on. When they don't sense air pressure, they turn off. If you take them off of your tires every time you stop, your batteries will last years. If you leave them on all the time, they will allegedly last about a year. I'm gonna leave them on, and I wanna see how long they last. The unit itself, the head unit, has a little stand that stands on your dash, and it also has a little suction cup thing if you have a spot for that. It can monitor a bunch of trailers. You can switch between trailers. You can have, I think, up to 12 sensors on each setup, or more than that even. I can't remember, there's a lot. I'll leave a link to this thing in the description below so that you can see all the specs for your own self. But the cool part is I could put tire sensors on the Jeep and be able to monitor my tire pressure in my Jeep as I'm towing it. That being said, one thing it's not very clear in all the directions is the flow through sensors that are a little bit longer are only for metal valve stems. The cap sensors they can only be used on rubber. So if you have rubber valve stems on a normal truck tire like my Jeep, I have to use the cap sensors. I can't use flow through sensors on those. I think it's because of the centrifugal force or the weight or whatever. Anyway, so that's the deal with that. Overall, I'm super, super happy with the setup. The one little gripe that I have is that when you turn the setup on, because the head unit that goes at the dash is actually wireless, you can plug it into a USB and power it, or you can charge it up. It has a built-in lithium-ion battery, so you can go on your trip and it's wireless, so you could just set it on your dash, not plug it into anything, and it'll last the duration of any trip that we're gonna do in a day, 400 or 500 miles or something. It's gonna last that whole time, even more, and you don't even have to plug it in. The only gripe that I have with it is when you first turn the head unit on in the morning, it takes about 5 minutes to detect all of the tires. So if you want results before you leave in the morning, just think ahead to make sure you turn that thing on, because it's going to take about 5 minutes, and it scans around multiple times and then gradually picks up each of the sensors. And the more sensors you have, the longer it's going to take. I've timed it a couple of times. It takes 4 to 5 minutes for mine to detect 6 sensors, which is what I have on it right now. So here's the display. So as you can see, it's like rotating around through the various tires. See, it hasn't picked up that left front yet because I just turned this on, and it'll continuously go around in a circle. And on the left, you've got your tire temperature, and you've got your PSI that it is currently at. I want these to be at 100 pounds, so I'm going to go fill these later. The cool part is that you'll be able to actually fill them, the flow-through ones, without removing them. Now the 2 cap sensors on the 2 inner duals I'm going to actually have to take off. See there, it's making an alarm because we've got less than 90 pounds. That's what will happen when you're driving if you have a low tire temperature. You can silence that alarm and then allow everything to continue to go on. So that's how we're managing our tire safety. Hopefully that helps you. I'll leave a link to everything that we've talked about today in the description below. Our compressor, the tire pressure monitoring system, and I'll leave a link to where we got the tires too. I'm actually really happy with that service. Yeah, they didn't spin balance, but I think these balance beads are gonna work out just fine. I guess, I tell you what, let's cut to whether they do or not. Okay, so just to end this out, we pulled into Colorado Springs, Colorado just now. Put another 800 or so miles on the motorhome after the last couple days using the TST tire pressure monitoring system. I also removed all of the wheel weights off of the coach and allowed the balance beads to do what they were supposed to do. Smooth as silk. Absolutely perfect. The tires are fantastic. A lot of roads in Colorado are not. So I was thankful for the new set of tires. Everything seems to be working perfect. I've found that tire pressures stayed exactly where I wanted them to stay. I woke up in the morning and was able to use the TST system to check tire pressure without having to get a bunch of tools out. It was amazing. This thing is killer. We'll put links to everything in the description below. Make sure you hit Music and Mascara. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And maybe next weekend we'll have another cool video just like this one.